I love recording in one take. Hi, I'm Every Lead. Today we're talking about Asian Kung Fu Generation again. Surf Bungaku Kamakura used to be my least favorite album. I used to say, this album sucks and it's a waste of their potential. But of course, over time, someone convinced me, someone being a YouTuber, convinced me that, hey, this should be good, right? This guy was like, hey, this is my top 4 albums and the top 4 are interchangeable of Asian Kung Fu Generation, which was Solfa, Fan Club, World, Surf Bungaku Kamakura, and then of course Joey from the Anime Man / Trash Days podcast said, my favorite album is Surf Bungaku Kamakura, so I had to check it out. Again, of course, I've checked it out before. I've checked it out many times, but I just had to like sit down and be like, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting this album and I need to get this album. I listened to it in the car, drove around, I got the album. Not, of course, at the time I was all like, top 4. Right? It's not nearly as ambitious as I'd like it to be, especially after World, which I was like, so close. You made a consistent album, but you didn't have that wow factor that Fan Club Solfa had. So then I was casually browsing on Wikipedia because I know that there was this new thing called the Half Carton. Of course, it was written in Japanese on Spotify, so I had no idea what it was called. Lo and behold, new content, new songs released on Surf Bungaku Kamakura, which I found this on July 3rd, so it's coming out in 2 days. And I was like, what? They're gonna redo Surf Bungaku Kamakura? And they did. They re-recorded Surf Bungaku Kamakura with new songs. So let's get into it. In terms of the re-recording of the old songs, it's just cleaner. There's just less noise. It's better produced, but we can have an argument about the garage-like sincerity, something I say so often. It might as well be a bumper sticker. People like the way that the old music sounds because it's dirtier, it's more raw, it's more real. Except the fact that maybe the bass is a little bit more drowned out in the, streamable quality version of the recordings, or the voice, the vocals are a little bit muddled in, so it's a little harder to hear those vocals. But of course, the new production with years of experience and better technology in 2023 from 2008, of course. It just sounds a little bit more cleaner. And we can, I personally like the old voice better. But in terms of the instrumentation, I don't really mind. It's basically the same. In terms of backing vocals, I feel like there's the most change. There's underlying vocals to create like harmonies in some. There's a little bit more harmonies. And I personally don't really like that because I love Goto's voice, and having it being not drowned out, but kind of like supplemented feels weird because some songs I'm like, okay, perfect. We can have that soaring harmony and those melodies can clash or whatever, and we can have this very beautiful soundscape. But with songs like these on Surf Bungaku Kamakura, not every song needs to have a harmony in the chorus or whatever, or backing vocals, or the vocals that go down or whatever. That's something that I don't really particularly like. And I think that's it in terms of the new versions of old songs. One particular thing is on Inamuragasaki Jane. Kita sings a very small part of the last chorus, so it's not just Goto singing the whole thing. And that's a fun treat for people who really love Kita and hearing him sing more often, even though I'm not a huge fan of him as a lead vocalist. Anyways, let's get to some of the new songs. Woo, 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 woo. Ishigami Hills is okay. It has a weak breakdown. It has a guitar solo, which feels a little unearned because it's a very whatever song. It's not that intense. Like, why is there a guitar solo in here? I think it's the worst of the new songs. But then again, at least we get it over with. At least it's in the first, it's a second song in the album. I can just go, well, I'm done with listening to an okay song. It's not even that bad, it's just okay. And then we get into Yanagi Koji Parallel Universe, and that is the certified star song, baby. That is like your empathy, that is your karma, right? Which is another song that I have not talked about, even though it just came out recently. I love it. I think the intro of just singing the guitar chord and the singing is good. It's short too, and it's just fun. I like it. It has a way better breakdown, has an anime OP sort of thing. He also says all right Like in English, he says all right, and I feel like that's an inside joke because there's a lot of songs, especially more recently, where he just throws in a all right, or something like that. Pretty good, awesome, love it. Kishikata Coast Story has a riff similar to Magic Disc. Has happy bop feels, I wrote down. It's very beachy, feels like I'm on the beach. I'm going like this, walk in, it's calm, it's coasty, good song on the album. Like, it fits really well on a surf album. The vibe is sublime. It's good. It's a good song. Another song, Nisaka Downhill, I said is, and then I'm gonna bleep this out, stellar. It's stellar. The beginning riff is eclectic. It's so good. Dum bum ba-da-dum bum bum ba-da-dum. It has vocals kind of like Planet Folks, where it's this kind of more rhythmic. Ba-ba-da, ba-ba-da. It has those triplets in there. Masafumi Goto, secret rapper, I'm telling you. The sound of it, of course, also fits on like Hometown. I feel like it's a very hometown feeling song. Bop, such a good song. It's one of these things where you're like, wow, despite this being a re-recorded version of an album they made in 2008, they snuck in songs that feel different enough where it doesn't, like, they feel different. They make songs in the album kind of break up the monotony of Surf Bungaku Kamakura. And that's still something that I feel like is still ringing in the back of my head, that despite me loving this album a lot more than I used to, it still kind of feels a little too consistent. It's like, it still feels like monotone in terms of there's no highs, but there's also no lows. I mean, there is highs, of course, but it's all relatively high. It doesn't have those standout songs that make me go, wow, this is a very different kind of song on this album. But these new songs create those feelings, but without straying too far from the Surf Bungaku Kamakura sound that they're trying to go for. We also have the last song is Wadazuka Wonders, which feels kind of like it would sneak itself into like World, which I really liked. And when I first heard it, I was like, nah, this is kind of a boring song. But sitting down, listening to it again, I really like it. So in conclusion, if you listen to the 2008 version of this album, listen to this one. If you've never listened to the 2008 version of this album, listen to this one. It's a re-recorded album with 5 new songs. There's nothing I can really complain about, except, of course, we can complain about how it's not all new music. And to that I say, we've got enough new music from Asian Kung Fu Generation. They tend to put out stuff pretty consistently and pretty frequently. I'm down to wait for the next big thing that's new. Also, not really, because, just kidding. I think that's the end of the video. I don't have anything else to say.